Here we delve a little deeper into the child app, and we're going to look at some stacking order. So let's just test this and see what this produces. It takes some of the happy facers out of the library and places on the stage. Notice how they're stacking up on top of each other. And let me take a look at the file, at the code. So the first thing I'm going to do is just place one on the stage. Actually, to do that, the easiest thing to do is just to comment this out. So there's no loop there. And I'll test it again. Okay, so it's now on the stage, so there's just one. So I'm going to see how that one is produced. So first of all, we're going to have a increment variable, a variable that will handle the incrementing, so that way we can move the object down on the stage. So it's the data type of UINT, and UINT is going to be unsigned integer. And essentially, that this is a good thing to use if you have non-negative numbers or numbers that are not floating point. And you'll see it used a lot within ActionScript, so it's a good thing to mention it here. Now, on this line, on line 7, since I've commented out my for loop, the add symbols function is just being called. And I'll put a semicolon there to be more proper. Now, the function add symbols is then executed. And what we do is we create an instance of face 1. We call it my face, and we now add it to the stage. On line 16, we add it on Y, and so that's going to be the vertical. So it's going to be like 50 down. And then this part here, just you have to do a little bit of your algebra there. And inc is now, the first time through, it's equal to 0. So it's going to be 50 down plus 0 times 40. So we know that 0 times 40 is going to equal 0. So this is actually, the first time through is just placed at 50. Now we want to move it over, because when you test this, you see that it's actually pretty close to the center of the screen. Okay, depending on where your center of your movie clip is. And we get it to the center of the screen, or the stage, by making the x value equal to stage.width divided by 2. And this is a really useful property here. You're making it equal to the stage object, and then the property is the stage width of the stage object. And then you just divide it by 2, and you have that center. So if you ever need to center anything, that's your shortcut right there. Okay, now we add it to our stage, and we add my face. That's this one right here. We add it to the stage, and we start it off at depth 0. And then if we have a loop, we keep increasing this by 1. What that does, remember, is that it keeps moving it down. We're just keep increasing this by a little bit. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and uncomment this. So I'll have 3 of them again. And test it out. So, pardon me, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Where's my code? Oh, there we go. All right. So anyways, it's, I think it's 3 in your sample code, but I added 1 there. Okay, so we have 3, and it's actually going to make 4 because we're starting off at 0. So we come down here, and I just want to quickly run through how it's incrementing it down here. This is worth mentioning. So we loop through. Each time through, it calls the function add symbols. So the first time through, it's fine. I kind of went through that. The second time through, though, so it comes down here, it runs it a second time, and it increments over. So the second time is going to be, INC is going to be equal to 1. So you have 1 times 40, so now we're placing it at 90 on the Y value, okay? Now, this part here is a little weird, because in ActionScript 2, you actually had to set the depth here. You had to say that you were going to increase that value, because this is the name of the instance, this is the depth value. Well, you really don't have to do that now in ActionScript 3. It's not quite the same, because it actually increases it for you. In Colin Mook's lectures, which I will often be linking to, he writes lots of ActionScript books, and I think really highly of the work that he's done. So anyways, his metaphor that he uses when talking about the display the display object containers is that it's like a stack of cards. And if you add a card to the bottom of a stack of cards, it sort of pushes all the rest of the cards up. And so now the card that was previously at 0 is now at 1. So this is kind of the same thing. As you add these cards at the bottom of the stack, or as you add your objects to the bottom of the stack, it moves the rest of the objects up. And it's the same metaphor.